The earliest evidence of rice in remote Pacific Oceania now has been found in Guam of the Marianas Archipelago. The preserved phytoliths of ancient rice husks and leaves dated back to the first time when people lived in this region, about 3,500 years ago. Rice was unknown in all of the other Pacific islands outside this one anomalous case of Guam and the Mariana Islands. Even here, rice was thought to be a recent introduction within the last 1,000 years. The discovery of a much older date now forces us to rethink or rewrite what we thought we knew about rice in ancient life across the Asia Pacific region. People first farmed domesticated rice many thousands of years ago along the Yangtze River in China. Thereafter, the traditions of rice farming spread into other areas. The ancient Austronesian people in Taiwan farmed rice and millet at least 4,800 years ago. During the next several centuries, the later generations of Austronesian people explored and inhabited a large part of the world, including island Southeast Asia and Pacific Oceania. The evidence of this story comes to us today through the histories of the indigenous languages, as well as through archaeology, identifying the direct dating of when people lived in each area, along with the forms and styles of their artifacts, their ways of engaging with their landscapes, their DNA directly from these ancient sites, and now the archaeobotanical records from the archaeological sites. The Austronesian expansion, or diaspora, involved many steps extended over thousands of years. During the later steps, when people lived in the remote distance islands of Pacific Oceania, these people did not grow rice. Rather, these later generations of people relied on different plant foods, such as breadfruit, banana, coconut, taro, and yams. Perhaps the local environments or the social settings were not suitable for growing rice. Meanwhile, though, rice remained the primary staple food among the Austronesian communities living throughout Taiwan and island Southeast Asia. The only exception or anomaly was in Guam and the Mariana Islands. Here, historically, rice was viewed as a rare but valuable plant food, reserved for special occasions, and tracing back no more than maybe 1,000 years ago. Many archaeologists and historians interpreted that people brought rice into Guam and the Marianas as part of a later population movement or overlay. Now, the verified dating at 3,500 years ago reveals a substantially different story of the ancient past. This timing at 3,500 years ago was the first time when anyone lived successfully in the islands of remote Oceania, beyond an ocean crossing range of 350 kilometers. In fact, the voyage from island Southeast Asia out to Guam and the Marianas exceeded 2,000 kilometers, ranking as a world record of long distance voyaging at the time. Now we can confirm that those first islanders brought rice with them during their voyage across the ocean. In this way, rice was part of life for the first islanders in Guam and the Mariana Islands. Centuries later, though, later generations of people did not bring rice with them into other parts of remote Pacific Oceania. The particular place of the discovery was at one part of the extensive Retidian site complex in Guam, specifically at a cave with multiple cultural layers dating back to 3,500 years ago. At that earliest time, the area was close with the ancient shoreline. Today, the area is buried beneath layers of coastal sediments and stranded more than 100 meters inland from the present-day shoreline. People did not live or reside in this cave, rather, people lived at a separate but nearby housing area. They accessed the cave often, but within a different kind of context of using highly specialized and finely made earthenware pottery, shell beads and ornaments, and unusual kinds of artifacts. Discarded shells referred to shellfish that ordinarily were not parts of the daily diet. The cave included rare panels of rock art and formal burial pits of different ages. This unusual context of the cave was the one place so far of discovering the microscopic phytoliths of silica minerals that filled into the anatomy of rice husks and leaves like fossils retaining the original biological structure. The preserved phytoliths of rice husks and leaves adhered onto the ancient earthenware pottery, indicating a direct cultural use with the pottery. This evidence was absent on the other artifacts and within the natural sediment matrix at this location and throughout the Radidian site complex, as well as at other sites of this earliest age in Guam and the Mariana Islands. The first generations of people here used rice within a narrow set of circumstances and highly specialized context. Now we can address questions that were not conceivable previously. What was the cultural role of rice for those first islanders in Guam and the Marianas? How did this context change during the next thousands of years? What made this case different from everywhere else in remote Pacific Oceania? What other ancient evidence may yet be discovered?